Welcome, traders. My name is Adam from Trade with Precision, and welcome to IC Markets Market Commentary. So let's kick off right away having a look at the VIX. So don't forget, we've obviously made it past non-farm payroll. We can see obviously US data is not looking too good, and it's very inconsistent with regards to its arrival. And so all I wanted to mention here, having a look at the VIX, we can see there is a bit of a spike, a bit of an increase. Again, within the bigger picture, I'm really not concerned until we start to hit the kind of much higher numbers. That can happen relatively quickly. But one of the things about the VIX, which is known as the fear index, is that it's kind of more of a lagging indicator. The market drops and the market spikes, and then you look back at its kind of gain. So I'm just mentioning it because a lot of people like to talk about it, but it is something I'm just giving you some context here. It isn't really upset at the moment, but I would say that it has started to increase going back, from, say, let's say April when the tariffs were coming out. Now, let's have a look at the dollar index. So interesting here, the dollar index has managed to kind of close up a little bit higher than it has in the past. This is important because if we ultimately start to break high and stay above this, we will then see a stronger dollar in the coming weeks and or months. On the other hand, should it fail, should we see another pullback in the coming week, we could see it head down over the next couple of weeks. So it really is, and I've been saying this for a while, it's been sitting at a fork in the roads, but it's been for the last 3 weeks. In fact, arguably even for the last 4 weeks. So we still haven't really seen it make a decision, but right now it is looking a little bit strong. It's looking almost as though it's going to break out and continue to strengthen. Okay, let's have a look at euro dollar. So this is interesting, and I mentioned this because if I draw this line here, and again, we did start to breach this. If I just adjust this quickly, adjust it this way, you can see we did actually breach it if I keep it above these highs, which would hint at some strength, some weakness in the dollar, some strength in euro dollar. I'm going to move it again. So if we break it again, then we know for sure that we're going to see that dollar weakening. So just exercising some caution. Again, we have a look at dollar yen. Dollar yen is one of the better charts out there today. It's got a good quality trend, and any pullbacks here traditionally for me would be buying opportunities. So I'm waiting for a price to pull back in the next couple of days. That's Monday or Tuesday, or maybe Wednesday next week. I'm looking for a small indecision candle and then looking for a buying opportunity there. And by the way, while I'm on it, there's a lot of yen charts that are offering similar opportunities. Euro yen, pound yen, I think Swiss yen, CAD yen, maybe even Kiwi yen, but a lot of those charts could be equally as attractive. Gold really hasn't done much. If you have a look at it from a weekly perspective, it's an indecision candle. And so what I need to do here is wait for a break above the high or a break below the low to give me some clues here as to which way it wants to go. The momentum historically is to the upside, so that is a good chance, but I still have to wait. And there just hasn't been a lot happening this week. This is the last 5 days. It hasn't really done much, and the same applies to silver. Although we do have some strong level of resistance up here at all-time highs, for silver, a break below and above last week's candle is really the best thing that we can wait for or wish for, because this isn't telling us much. We have a downtrend on the daily, but it also looks quite bullish, and that support level may hold, and we might find that it reverses. So exercising some caution there. Crude oil continues to trend lower, lower highs, lower lows on the daily, as well as the weekly, as well as the monthly. So based off this, I still expect price and oil to continue down to these lows here, which is at 54, call it $55, but certainly much further or much lower than it is at the moment. Right, let's have a look at the global market. So the S&P had a very nice Friday. This is interesting. You can see that we had a bit of a sell-off on the Tuesday. A little bit of recovery on the Wednesday, big attempt to push higher on the Thursday, which closed lower, but then Friday pushing back up. So what's happening here is, although there doesn't seem to be much attraction here to buying above this level, at the same time, every time there's a sell-off, there's a pushback from the buyers. And so that battle is going to continue into this coming week. So if we have a look at it from a weekly perspective, what I'm looking at is, yes, we've had a deeper retracement. And so really what's on the table now is, are we seeing a monthly retracement? Are we seeing a monthly pullback here, or simply a weekly sell-off? Okay, so this coming week is going to be important, because if we continue to push higher from the daily here, if we continue to push higher, then it's going to say essentially that by the end of the week we'll have a nice green candle here, and that sell-off is pretty much done, and we might see a rally into Christmas. On the other hand, should we have a continued sell-off breaking the low here, we could see the market head back down on the monthly, back down towards these lows, and then we'll have to see if we get that correction in December. So ultimately there's a battle here between those bulls on the weekly and the bulls on the monthly. And whether they feel that it's too soon for the trend to continue, and whether we need a deeper correction. And this is essentially the same. One thing I would observe is we are below the 50-period moving average, which is not a sign of strength. But from a weekly perspective, we are still sitting within the moving averages. We have had a deeper correction. And again, it also implies, I beg your pardon, that in the coming weeks and or months, the market is going to lose some steam. It's a deeper pullback. It shouldn't really happen. And so on the other hand, I'd love to see a nice deeper monthly pullback here, just let off some of that buying pressure. So that is, again, that's the fork in the road. That's what we're waiting to see. Here we can see the FTSE as well. Really strong bounce off that 50 period, but it's a deeper correction. Go and have have a look at it from a monthly perspective, again, we could have a nice shallow pullback over the coming weeks and still let off some of that buying pressure, but that weekly candle looks nice and bullish. So again, it's just looking at that weekly versus monthly, and that's why this coming week is kind of important. If we finish strong this coming week, that implies that we're going to probably continue higher. On the other hand, should we finish low, it just simply means we're going to get a monthly pullback. Okay, so exercise some caution around that, please. Again, HK has become increasingly destable. It's had a very nice trend. It has lost that trend. It's become more choppy. I'd stay away from that. Let's have a look at Tesla. So Tesla battling here. Tesla's not alone. There's a lot of companies that are experiencing some good, strong sell-offs. And so again, for now, I expect this to pull back a little bit further. NVIDIA as well. NVIDIA's got some divergence creeping in, and from a monthly perspective, it is looking more and more likely as though we will have a deeper pullback. So just looking at some of the big ones here, it's looking more and more likely that we are heading into a potential monthly correction rather than a weekly correction. Bitcoin as well, especially here, looking at it from a monthly, it's pulling right back into the lows. In every other respect, this has been actually quite a good it's been quite a good chart, and this deeper pullback again implies that we're going to have either a deeper sell-off or a consolidation, but not necessarily bounce right back. Okay, so the next 2 or 3 months are going to be very interesting here as to the state or the strength or the stability or the sentiment of the markets. I'll leave you with that. There is plenty to have a look at, and let's just exercise caution as we approach Christmas. Thank you very much.